With the rise of technology, the amount of information that we have at our fingertips is monumental to say the least. The problem occurs when we cannot figure out what information is correct. This is the Digital Prepper, and today I'm going to try to explain what disinformation is, why it happens, and what you can do to prepare by doing your own research to not get caught up in disinformation. Before we get started, I just want to remind you guys that if you do like the video and want to discuss anything regarding digital preparedness or just preparedness in general, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to see more like this. With that being said, let's get started. So let's start by getting some items actually defined. There's actually two things that we need to take a look at: misinformation and disinformation. These are two different things. Unfortunately, both are bad and are things to take a look at. Misinformation is defined as false information that is spread regardless of intent to mislead. Now, this more or less happens just in everyday life. We might mishear or misremember details of something told to us. We might tell our friends something we heard on TV or possibly saw on social media that wasn't really true. Or we might even exaggerate on some of the details. Maybe the article that you're reading or the news segment gets their facts wrong. Misinformation spreads very easily thanks to technology, especially on social media, where information can spread like a virus through likes or reposts, even if that information is not 100% true. Now, disinformation is another beast by itself. This is defined as spreading deliberately misleading or biased information, manipulated narratives, or other propaganda. Now, as a bit of a low-level example, if you know that a party starts at 7 p.m., but you tell someone you don't really like that it starts at 9 p.m. because you want them to look foolish, you're supplying them with disinformation. Now, it is important to remember the intent, because although both of these are referring to false information, only one of these terms, disinformation, actually refers to deliberately spreading false information. Now that we have those two terms defined, we can ask the question of why do people deliberately spread fake information to others? Well, again, some people might not know that they're doing it consciously. Research shows that people tend to spread messages from people that they think count as a trustworthy source. Again, this goes back to my example of the news that you might look at getting their facts off or wrong, and now that information is spreading. It's also a powerful tool that entire countries have used to spread false news about rival nations. Some bouts of disinformation are spread on a tactical level, targeting specific kinds of people to possibly get them to act in a specific way. Now, with this being said, the most dangerous misconception is that disinformation targets only unsavvy or uneducated people. Now, this is simply not true, as disinformation often uses the techniques of critical thinking to imbue people with a sense of skepticism. It's designed to overwhelm our capacity to make sense of the information given to us, and it can push us into thinking that the healthiest response is to disengage and accept the info that was given to us instead of looking deeper. Well, let's look deeper. How can we combat mis or disinformation and receive the correct information? Let's start with you. How can you prevent false information from being spread in the first place? Honestly, my first tip would be to not get your news from social media sites. They're just too volatile and prone to rapid change. Like the telephone game, for example. News on social media can start as one thing, and by the time it gets to your eyes, it's entirely different. Overall, whether or not you're on social media or looking at a news article from a website, here are some things that you need to look for. Who is the author, and where did the item originate? When you're reading anything, you should check on the individual, company, or institution that made the article. in order to see where their potential biases are. Is the author's name actually listed on the article? What are their credentials that make them an expert in that topic? Another thing to look at is if the information is accurate and free from errors. Now, this is considered more reliable since they took the time to have their article be legible and readable. One or two typos are okay, but information that is presented in a sloppy manner with too many spelling or grammatical mistakes just comes across as unprofessional and potentially untrustworthy. Another thing to look at is, are there links to other resources in that article to back up the claims that they are making? If not, you might want to look at other sites to compare information to. If you are looking at statistical references and data, do be sure to check where they came from. Numbers can easily be changed and manipulated to show personal opinions, and it's important to remember that fact and opinion are different. Remember to check to see if the information is presented with the least amount of prejudice or personal bias. If you are reading the article, is it showed as an opinion, or is it trying to sell you something or get you to play to a specific side? If so, you might need to look for a more non-biased source. And finally, when was that information first published? Is the content that you're looking at up to date? Or is the website updated regularly? Or is it something that is old, made to look like new information? If you do a little more research, is there newer information or updates on the topic that you are looking at? Nowadays, any breaking news can be updated up to the minute on some websites, so do remember to refresh your page to see any new information that might be stated. Overall, the prevalence of false information, along with the sheer volume of information that we interact with every day, can make it difficult to figure out what's true and what's not. Mis and disinformation don't have a formula that causes it to be spread. It mostly relies on the emotion and biases of us normal people in order to appeal to us to be able to be spread. The only defense to this is vigilance. Do take the time to check your sources and remember that facts are facts. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to get more videos like this that will help you with your digital preparedness. If you have any ideas for more videos or want to share your experiences with prepping, please leave a comment down below. Stay safe, stay prepared, more digital prepping to come.